Hello. Welcome. Today we can proceed to chemistry of natural product of chapter 3. Chapter 3 is all about steroids. So today we can be proceed to illustrate chapter 3 with me. So nice to follow this tutorial video so as to understand the concept of steroids. So before following this tutorial video, it is very nice to subscribe the channel so as to get the consecutive video that prepared for you. So it is nice to subscribe and share for your friends as well. So when you come steroids are a class of naturally occurring organic substance and their derivatives that are of a great importance in biology and medicine and chemistry. And this steroid group include all the 6 hormones: adrenal cortical hormones, bile acids and the sterol of vertebrates, the molting hormone of insects, and many other physiologically active substance of animal and the plant can be included under these steroids. So among the synthetic steroid of therapeutic value are a large number of anti-inflammatory agents, anabolic, which means that growth stimulating agent, and different oral contraceptive are best class of these steroids. When you see the chemistry of steroid numbering system and the nomenclature are there. So all steroids are related to the characteristic molecular structure of compound of 17 carbon atoms, like the structure of ABCD, and these are arranged in 4 rings. A ring can be denoted by the letters of ABCD with bonded towards the carbon bonded toward the 28 hydrogen atoms. So this parent structure is named as guanine, and often referred to as steroid nucleus. They may be modified in practically a limited number of hundreds of steroids have been isolated from plants, animals, and thousands more have been prepared by chemical treatment of natural steroid or by synthesis from simple compounds. So this guanine or gonine is can be act as the parent structure. The steroid nucleus is 3-dimensional structure, and the atoms or groups attached to it by spatially directed bonds, and also many stereoisomers of this nucleus are possible and may be synthesized. And the structured nuclear structure of most class of natural steroid are alike except the junction of the ring at A and B. So simplified 3-dimensional diagram may be used to illustrate stereochemistry or stereochemical details. For example, androsten, a common to a number of natural and synthetic steroids, exists in 2 forms actually, as depicted in cis and trans, in which A and B ring fusion are called in cis trans conformation. So this one is the confirmation of the 3-dimensional stereochemical structures of steroids, especially for androsten. So in cis isomer, the bonds to the methyl group H3 and the hydrogen atom H can be projected upward from the general plane defined by the rest of the molecule, whereas in trans isomer the methyl group projects up and the hydrogen projects down, which means in opposite direction. That means if something can be aligned in the similar direction, we say that cis, and if it can be aligned in an opposite direction, we say that trans. So usually, however, steroid structure are represented as a plane projection diagram, such as 4 and 5, which corresponds to 2 and 3 respectively, which means that cis androsten and trans androsten. So in cis androsten, both hydrogen and methyl group can be projected in the same direction, whereas in trans androsten, hydrogen and the methyl can be attached in opposite direction. Each carbon atom of the steroid molecule is numbered, and the number is reserved to a particular position in an hypothetical parent skeletal structure, whether this position is occupied by the carbon atom or not. So this one is the basic structure of what steroids. Steroid having what ABCD structure, parent structure. What yeah. So the derivative of the names of the more common root structure from those of naturally occurring compound or class of compound for which they are most typically are indicated in this table. And for example, guanine have, meaning the carbon present in a numbering system is from 1 to 17, and the naturally occurring general classes for guanine is nothing or none. And for example, if you take estrange and androsten, the number of carbon atom is 1 to 80 to 1 to 90. So by this mechanism you have to what name the structure of different steroids, or you can nomenclature of this steroid class. So this one is colestine having 27 carbon, and pregenine having what 21 carbon, and estrane having what 18 carbons, and androsten having what 19 carbons. So this one is all are the basic backbone structure of physiological steroids. Actually, we have two way of naming these steroids. There is a tribal name and a chemical name. Tribal name means, as the name indicates, is a common or traditional name that they mean. And for example, if you take cholesterol, the backbone is actually cholesterol, and 5 cholesteins beta all is a chemical name or dieback name it means. So we have two way of naming steroids, as a tribal name or traditional name, and a chemical name or IUPAC name that it means. This one is cortisol. Cortisol having what an OH moiety, which is all indicate alcohols, and aldosterone having what an ONE, which mean having an a ketone functional group that they mean. And the progesterone, testosterone, estradiol are, this one is the hormones that is very important, which is made from what steroid classes. So this one is the structure of progesterone and the testosterone and estradiol. In estradiol we have 2OH functional group at 17 beta hydroxyl group, and the OH on an aromatic or benzene ring also. So estradiol or diol indicate the presence of 2OH group. When you come to the biosynthesis and the metabolism of steroid, especially cholesterol, these steroids are probably synthesized in all vertebrates and in many invertebrates by the same pathway, which includes what cholesterol. So biosynthesis of cholesterol is especially vigorous in the liver of vertebrate, but also occurs in the intestine of what gonads, skin, and the immature brain. Therefore, the place where, or the major place of biosynthesis of cholesterol is liver, but in the same fashion it can be occurs in intestine, gonads, skin, and the immature brain. So cholesterol and the other steroids are biosynthesized by extension of the enzyme pathway by which terpenoids are synthesized. These cholesterol have biologically significant. The main importance of this cholesterol is, one, it can be an essential lipid constituent of the cell membrane. You know that your lipid is what? A lipoprotein. Cell membrane is a lipoprotein, which means made up of lipid and the protein that it means. So cholesterol is significantly the essential constituent of this lipid. And the cholesterol is a precursor of steroid hormone as well as bile acid, and the intermediate of cholesterol biosynthesis are required to make the vitamin D and for post-translational modification of the membrane protein. Not only this, high plasma cholesterol promotes what? Atherosclerosis. This one is the effect or the defects of the hypercholesterolemia, which leads what? Atherosclerosis. The process that determine cholesterol balance in our body, and the cholesterol balance in our body can be what done by the different process. For example, intestinal uptake of dietary cholesterol. The other one is de novo cholesterol synthesis of steroid hormone from cholesterol, and the synthesis of bile acid from cholesterol, and the biliary secretion, as well as this biliary secretion of surplus cholesterol is in unmodified forms. De novo means the Latin term, which means what? Scratch. So synthesis of something from scratch is known as de novo synthesis actually. So this 5 technique can be what used for what? Balancing the amount of cholesterol in our body. So the general overview of cholesterol synthesis seems this one. Always acetyl-CoA can be used as starter unit. This acetyl-CoA can be what? Converted in different pathway or different phenomena so as to give what? Cholesterol. But before cholesterol, we have to generate escholine intermediate having what? Carbon 13, which is what? Terpenoid, triterpene especially, and this triterpene can be converted to lanosterol. Lanosterol is an alcohol, and this lanosterol can be what? Converted to cholesterol at the end. So actually the starter unit is simply here acetyl-CoA in the same fashion with that of what? Polyketide synthesis. So this one is the initial activation step in cholesterol synthesis. Here CoAsh is an enzyme that used for what? Synthesis of malonyl-CoA. This malonyl-CoA can be used as extender unit, and this extender unit can be what? Used to react with acetyl-CoA to produce isopentyl pyrophosphate. Isopentyl pyrophosphate is what? The units of terpenoid classes, which have what? 5 carbon unit actually, yes. So this isopentyl pyrophosphate can be converted to dimethyl allyl pyrophosphate. This dimethyl allyl pyrophosphate can be generate or source of 5 carbon. This 5 carbon can be reaction or coupling reaction to produce what? Geranyl pyrophosphate. This geranyl pyrophosphate is what? The precursor for monoterpene actually. So it is geranyl pyrophosphate that can be react with isopentyl pyrophosphate to produce farnesyl pyrophosphate. This farnesyl pyrophosphate can be produced with sesquiterpene, and this farnesyl pyrophosphate can be undergo what? Coupling reaction to produce squalene. Squalene is an intermediate for triterpene, which means that it have what? 13 carbon compound. So this 13 carbon squalene can be used for what? Cholesterol synthesis. So now squalene can be used for what? The synthesis of cholesterol at the end by passing from these different process, which can be supported by different coenzyme like NAD and the NADPH, and in between that the epoxidation also takes place, and that is to produce squalene epoxide that can be produced as a result of epoxidation, and this epoxidation can be give the OH functional group in lanosterol as well as in cholesterol at the carbon number 3. So it is lanosterol that can be converted to cholesterol as you see from this general reaction. So this one is the mechanism or the biosynthesis route of what? Cholesterol. So when we come to types of steroid hormones, we have different type of steroid hormone. Actually, we have 5 major. The first one is glucocorticoids, which can be cortisol is the major representative in most mammals, and the mineralocorticoids, aldosterone being most prominent types of steroid hormone actually, and androgens also such as testosterone, estrogen including estradiol and estrone, and the progesterone also known as progestin such as a progesterone. These all are types of steroid hormone which are what? Crucial by physiological phenomena in our bodies. So steroid hormone are not packaged but synthesized and immediately released, are all derived from the same parent compound cholesterol. Cholesterol is a parent compound for the different synthesis of steroid hormone. So enzyme which produces steroid hormone from cholesterol are located in mitochondria and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So steroids are lipid soluble and thus are freely permeable to the membrane, so are not stored in the cells. Yeah, because of OH-18, that the cholesterol can be easily soluble in water, so as to it can be what? Steroids are actually lipid soluble, so it can be freely permeable to membrane because our membrane is made up of lipoprotein, we say that. So these steroid hormones are not water soluble, so have to be carried in the blood complex to specific binding globulins. The corticosteroids binding globulin carries a cortisol and the different sex the steroid binding a globulin carries what? Testosterone and estradiol. In some cases, steroid is secreted by one cell and is converted to the active steroid by the target cells, and an example is androgen, which is secreted by gonad and converted into estrogen in the brain. So this one is a phenomenon of steroid hormone in our body, and the function of this steroid hormone is what? Steroid hormones play an important role in our body. For example, carbohydrate regulation. For example, glucocorticoid can be used for what? Carbohydrate regulation. Mineral balance by mineralocorticoids, and reproductive function like gonadal steroids. And these are the most important function of steroid hormone. So steroid also play roles in inflammatory response, stress response, bone metabolism, cardiovascular fitness, behavior, cognition, and mood modulation also are the function of these steroid hormones. The role of these steroids, cholesterol in steroid synthesis is what? It is the first enzymatic step in the production of any steroid hormone, begin with enzymatic modification of cholesterol. So this cholesterol is very important for the synthesis of steroid hormone, it means. So what are the source of cholesterol for steroid synthesis? So cholesterol can be made within a cell from acetyl-CoA or de novo synthesis, we say that. So this is a multi-step process involved in many enzymatic reaction, and a key rate limiting enzyme is what? HMG-CoA reductase. Yeah. So there is a negative feedback regulation of this enzyme reductase activity by cholesterol, so that high intracellular cholesterol inhibits what? De novo synthesis. De novo is a Latin term which means synthesis or something from scratch. So acetyl-CoA can be used to what? Generates cholesterol, and this cholesterol can be back converted to mevalonate or acetyl-CoA by using different enzyme. So cholesterol is also taken up by the cell in the form of low density lipoprotein LDL, and this LDL is a complex composed of cholesterol, phospholipid, triglyceride, and the proteins. The protein and the phospholipid make low density lipoprotein soluble in our blood, and this low density lipoprotein is taken into cell via low density lipoprotein receptors and broken down into esterified cholesterol. Then the free cholesterol can be released. So low density lipoprotein can be what? Converted to what? A free cholesterol by using these esterified cholesterols. Yeah. So this steroid hormone synthesis, all steroid hormone are derived from cholesterol. We mentioned this in the previous slide also. So a series of enzymatic steps in the mitochondria and the endoplasmic reticulum of steroid iodogenic tissue convert cholesterol into all of the other steroid hormones and the intermediate. So the rate limiting step is in this process is the transport of free cholesterol from the cytoplasm to mitochondria. So this step is carried out by the steroidogenic acute regulatory protein, STAR in short. So the cholesterol precursor come from cholesterol synthesized within the cell from acetates. So from cholesterol ester stored in intracellular lipid droplet or from uptake of cholesterol containing low density lipoprotein. And this lipoprotein taken up from plasma are the most important when steroidogenic cells are chronically stimulated. So steroid hormone can be synthesized by this scenario. So here, as you see in the diagram, this testosterone can be what? Generated from androstenedione, and this androstenedione can be what? Generated from pregnenolones. So this one is the mechanism how different hormones or steroid hormone can be synthesized. So what the function of these hormones actually? So progesterone, you know, that prepares a uterus lining from implantation of ovum, and glucocorticoids or cortisol produced in adrenal cortex or catabolic steroid can used for what promotes gluconeogenesis, favor a breakdown of fat and the protein fuel mobilization, and also it have what anti-inflammatory function also. So you know that the concept of gluconeogenesis, which means that synthesizing glucose from non-glucose precursors. That I mean. So mineralocorticoids also used for maintaining blood volume and the blood pressure by increasing sodium reabsorption by the kidney. Now viewed like this. So this cholesterol can also be converted to progesterone, as we mentioned before, and this testosterone pathway ends here in testes and estradiol, and the pathway can be what continues to here in the ovaries, and the estrone can be produced in both male and the female adipose cells. In obese men, actually, overproduction of estrogen in fat cells can cause what gynecomastia, which means that excess male breast development. That I mean. So the pathway for the synthesis of testosterone or test and the estrogen estradiol ovaries and the estrone in adipose tissue can be what takes place in this mechanism. So this one is the phenomena how different hormones can be generated from cholesterol using as a precursors in male as well as in females. So when it comes to oral contraceptives, these oral contraceptive or birth control pills constitutes the first classes of what synthetic steroid hormone that suppress the release of follicle stimulating hormone FSH and the luteinizing hormones from the anterior loop of the pituitary gland in the female body. Therefore, these two hormones can be what generated from this steroid. It means so oral contraceptive, which can be what steroid synthesized from steroid hormones that suppress the release of follicle stimulating hormone as well as luteinizing hormones from the anterior loop of the pituitary gland in the female body, can be what one role of these steroid hormones. The steroids are a large group which is composed of a common 3-monohydroxysteroid of the cholestyns, ergostains, and stigmastane series, and their methylsterol biogenic precursors, lanosterol, cycloartinols, and certain derivative of these sterols such as phenols can be what different class of steroid. So some important steroid and their sources can be depicted in the table with their systematic name and the occurrence. For example, if you take cholesterol, the systematic name can be 5-cholestyl 3-beta-ol, which is the principal sterol of most animal and all vertebrate tissue. And if you take, for example, the last one, cycloartinol, which is 9,19 cyclo-24 anostin 3-beta-ol, which is generally a minor sterol of green plants, can be what the source of or the place where these sterols can be what reserved or accumulated. So although total synthesis of steroid have proved commercially visible, it is often more practical to prepare them by partial synthesis, that is by modification of other naturally abundant steroids. So this one is the structure of stigmasterol, which have OH at the third carbon position, stigmasterols. So natural distribution, the function of sterols and the bile acid. So the most generally abundant steroid are sterols, and which occur in all tissue of animals, green plant, fungi, and yeasts. So evidence for the presence of steroid in bacteria and in primitive blue-green algae is also conflicting actually. So the major sterols of most tissue are accompanied by traces of their precursors, lanosterol in animals and cycloartinol in plants, and of an intermediate between this compound and their major sterol products. So in mammalian skin, one precursor of cholesterol is 7 dihydrocholesterols, which can be what converted by solar ultraviolet light to cholecalciferol vitamin D3, which controls calcification of bone by regulating intestinal absorption of calcium actually. So the disease rickets, which results from lack of exposure to sunlight, can be treated by the administration of vitamin or of the corresponding derivative of ergosterols or ergocalciferol, which is vitamin D2. So overall, this one is all about steroid. Thank you for watching this video until end. I'm sure that you have to get at least some point from this tutorial video. So if you want to get more video on the courses, you have to comment on the comment section of the channels, and you have to subscribe for getting a new video when uploaded, as well as please share for your friends so as to benefit from these channels, because this tutorial video is very important for you guys, because you can listen while working in different activity in different situation. You have to listen for by your to get a clear concepts behind the courses as well. So it is very important for you guys, so you have to listen attentively and you have to follow the channel always, because we can upload different courses based on your recommendation as well. So you have to put your suggestion, comment on the comment section of the channel, so as to we have to modify and develop based on your recommendation for your future. So thank you very much overall.